training with them.
The officer killed today is the first Ottawa officer to be killed in the line of duty in more than a quarter century. But it's not just police in Ottawa who are mourning. Here in Toronto, the Flag at 52 Division and other police divisions across the city flying at half-staff as officers here remember.
A terrible tragedy like the loss of a police officer anywhere. I think it affects police and their families and people who care about the police right across this country. And it reminds us of the dangerous work that our people do. And it also reminds us that regardless of how dismal we might be, terrible tragedies can occur.
The hunt for Constable Zapnick's alleged killer might still be underway were it not for paramedics and hospital staff who managed to nab a suspect at the scene.
I will say we're heroic in the way they handle the situation. For the training they have, they used our training, literally, to apprehend a suspect who was very difficult to apprehend and, probably saved other people something, if not their lives.
Facing murder charges is a former Saskatchewan RCMP officer, 43-year-old Kevin Gregston. He was dismissed in 2006 after pleading guilty to threatening a Mormon church official.
I think someone was hell-bent on something occurring, and they ensured that it happened. And it cost a very good officer and man and father his life.
Police officers from across North America are expected to attend Constable Zapnick's funeral, including a large contingent from here in Toronto. The funeral arrangements, though, have yet to be announced. Anne?
All right, Roger, thank you. And Premier Dalton McGuinty has offered condolences to Constable Zapnick's family on behalf of all of the people of Ontario. Passengers continue to line up for pat-downs at Pearson International. We're live next to Pam Seidel with the new security measures jamming Canada's busiest airport tonight. Again, Pam.
Well, Anne, it certainly is calmer here today than over the weekend, but the headaches continue for passengers, with new security rules allowing thorough pat-downs but restricting carry-on bags. Airline officials tried to warn travelers in advance about strict new carry-on rules, but there was still plenty of confusion. This bag here?
Right.
They say you have to check that.
Correct.
Oh my gosh.
And it doesn't have a zipper. I mean, anything in it will fall out if it gets checked. And I can't find out what my options are.
The lineups were still long at Terminal 3 today, though not as bad as on the weekend after the failed terrorist attempt on a Detroit-bound flight Christmas Day. People are taking the new restrictions in stride.
That's light hassle. The alternative is not great, though, so it's bearable.
Yeah. So did you have to rearrange stuff?
We did. We did a lot of stuff that we would normally carry on and put in our checked baggage.
Transport Canada's latest guidelines are no carry-on bags with the following exceptions: diaper bags, medical devices, life-sustaining items, canes, walkers, laptops, and small purses. In addition to long lines here at Pearson, security also continues to be extra tight. Every U.S.-bound passenger has to undergo a full body pat-down before boarding their flight. About 40 RCMP officers have been called in to assist with security searches, which are thorough and some would say invasive.
We felt that police officers are well-trained, well-used to the pat-downs. They are used to do that, so they were a big of a help for CATSA officers, mainly in 3 airports, Calgary, Toronto, and Edmonton. And in Montreal, Trudeau Airport, it's the local police that is on the ground.
And how long will that continue for, Patrick?
All those measures are expected to remain in place until further notice.
Some U.S. lawmakers are now calling for the use of full body scanners in airports that they say would have detected the explosives allegedly attached to these underwear worn by suspect Umar Farouk Abdulmutallab. There has been opposition to the use of so-called naked scanners because of privacy concerns.
A lot of people do have privacy issues. Also, I don't think they'd really be necessary for everyone. A full-body scanner could be very useful in lieu of a strip search.
Meanwhile, some passengers say the delays at Pearson are well worth it.
Well, we've left ourselves 3 hours to make a line. We'd rather be safe than sorry.
Now, there was a pilot project project conducted with those full-body scanners in BC a couple of years ago. It's still not clear whether or not they will be implemented countrywide. The Transport Canada spokesperson said the results from the pilot project are still under review. Live at Pearson, I'm Pam Seidel. Now back to the newsroom.
Okay, Pam, thank you. A stunning admission tonight by U.S. President Barack Obama. Live next to our political specialist, Richard Madden, and the president, I quote him, he called it a catastrophic breach of security aboard that Detroit-bound airliner, Richard.
Well, you're absolutely right, and that stunning admission came late this afternoon. Now, the suspect charged with attempting to blow up a flight on Christmas Day exposed some big failures within Homeland Security, and today President Obama admitted them. First, it's failure to let known terror suspects board an aircraft bound for the States, and second, the fact that the suspect's own father alerted U.S. Embassy officials before the attempted attack, yet those warnings were ignored. Take a listen.
When our government has information on a known extremist, and that information is not shared and acted upon as it should have been, so that this extremist boards a plane with dangerous explosives that could have cost nearly 300 lives, a systemic failure has occurred, and I consider that totally unacceptable. The reviews I've ordered will surely tell us more. But what already is apparent is that there was a mix of human and systemic failures that contributed to this potential catastrophic breach of security. We need to learn from this episode and act quickly to fix the flaws in our system, because our security is at stake and lives are at stake.
So, despite the investigation into why the system failed, this admission could certainly boost Republican accusations the White House is soft on terror. Meantime, Al-Qaeda has claimed responsibility, and the Nigerian suspect appears in a Detroit courtroom on January 8th.
Happening right now, the intersection of Shooter and Sumac remains shut down as police investigate a terrible mishap. A little boy was left unconscious in the middle of the road as his hysterical mother watched in anguish while paramedics stabilized